But actually, this should be a pretty free switch, I think, into Giratina. And then I think it's probably worth a Terra Ghost on Zamazenta. Avoid a close combat, have a better chance of taking a Flare Blitz, look for the KO on Koraidon. They could punish this if they pivot around some more with like U-turn, and I've used my Terra and they're not going to be surprised by it anymore. But if this happens instead, I'm in a good spot. It's Roar Photograph. It just brings Rillaboom right back in. That does give them their terrain. That actually is pretty threatening. Welcome back to Ghost Month, the October celebratory special on this channel, where every week I use a team built around a Ghost-type Pokemon, which I do because Ghost is my favorite Pokemon type. We're doing Regulation J this year, and I said that there would be legendaries featured, but as I said before, I'm also trying to minimize overlap with VGC Legends, the series where I spin a wheel, get a random legendary or mythical Pokemon, and build around it. And that narrows my options some. Lunala has already appeared in that series, and whenever the wheel gives me a Pokemon with multiple forms, I do only choose one, but I happen to have chosen both Dawnwings Necrozma and Shadow Rider Calyrex, so I don't really want to bring either of those to a feature here as well. Fortunately, Giratina has two forms that are both Ghost types, and I believe I chose Altered Giratina in the VGC Legends series, so we can focus on Origin Giratina today, and that's what we're going to do. But there's one other slightly unusual thing here. This is the only time in the 2025 Ghost Month that I'm not building the team myself. I'm not as big a stickler with that in this series as I am with the other one, but I definitely will be doing it the rest of the way, so if anyone's upset, don't worry, this is a one-off. But this is the team that a player named Drew Bliss used in Regulation I to make top 16 at the Melbourne Regional Championship. In fact, this team is already featured on this channel once before, but that was in Reg I. We'll see how it holds up in Reg J. And personally, I'm happy to not have to build every single time. I don't mind making this one-time exception, but also, and maybe this will help if it feels like a cop-out, if I did build my own Origin Giratina team, it would probably look pretty much like this one anyway, so might as well skip to the end here, right? And just use the one that's already made that I would probably be more or less recreating intentionally or not. This is a physical priority spam team. It is meant to throw off strong physical priority attacks and also just very fast attacks. Things like Entei, Extreme Speed, Rillaboom, Grassy Glide, Urshifu, Surging Strikes, and Aqua Jet. All of them powered up by Qianpao, which pairs also very wonderfully with the physical tank Zamazenta. Sword of Ruin gives... This team is all physical attackers, so Sword of Ruin gives a passive buff to all of their damage. And then I also do have coaching on Urshifu, although since it's Scarf Urshifu, I'm more likely clicking Surging Strikes most of the time. But this team makes the unusual choice of running Origin Giratina as another priority physical attacker with the Shadow Sneak and that higher attack stat than Altered Giratina. Still pretty tanky with base 150 HP and only slightly lower defenses than the Altered form. It does have Levitate, so it doesn't get healing from grassy terrain. But, you know, it gets some good matchups as a Ghost and Dragon type with Levitate, and we can throw off Shadow Sneak or just a really strong Poltergeist, or do some mixed damage with Draco Meteor. There's not too much more to be said about this team. It's a pretty straightforward build. Let's give Giratina its due in this year's Ghost Month while we have this restricted format to play with. Of course, it's an Annihilate Magearna team first. It seems to always be an Annihilate Magearna team first these days. This one has Ice Rider Calyrex, Female Indeedee, some kind of Urshifu, I would guess Dark on this team, and Smeargle. So, I mean, I should be able to overwhelm them, right? Like, oh, you know what I could do? I could even just lead my Restricted Duo. I could lead my Restricted Duo, or I could lead Qianpao Zamazenta. And either way, what I'm looking to do is click Priority Move into Annihilate, weaken the final Gambit, and just Zamazenta attack Magearna. That doesn't work so well if they lead Indeedee instead of Annihilate. But actually, Qianpao covers Indeedee lead. Qianpao covers Calyrex lead shenanigans for the most part. I was actually leading Giratina, but I think I like Qianpao Zamazenta lead here. I'll bring Giratina in the back. I don't think I remembered to make it shiny. Oh, never mind, I did. Okay, nice. For once, more competent than I thought. And Urshifu's good here. Entei is really good into me. Actually, yeah, Entei is very good into the Restricted Duo, isn't it? Rillaboom's good too because it changes the terrain, and that can be important I don't know how much priority I necessarily want to spam into this team, but it can be valuable. But the restricted Pokemon kind of feast on Rillaboom a little bit, so I'm going to bring Entei instead and hope that I don't need terrain control. It is Annihilate Magearna lead. I don't know why I did all that thinking when these teams almost always just lead with this. And I do think I want to... I don't know how much I'll weaken the final Gambit by doing this, but I think I do want to just Sucker Punch the Ape and Body Press Magearna. Actually, just switch the Ape out to Single Striker Shifu. That'll work. Magearna takes a lot from that Body Press. It does get to set Trick Room. I don't love having Chien-Pao on the field here, but there's also nobody I want to switch in. And actually, they don't have Psychic Terrain up. I could Sucker Punch or Shifu to break a possible Sash. If it has Sucker Punch, though, and clicks that, its Sucker Punch will come out first. Or I could just target Magearna. But this here Shifu is, I think, more threatening to what I have in the back. So Sucker Punch and Body Press. I didn't say it, but I stopped short. I got distracted before I said it, but I didn't think they were likely to click. Is that going to knock out Zamazenta? No. Okay, good. I didn't think they were likely to click Sucker Punch because they obviously had the speed advantage in the Trick Room there. I did just give up a lot to KO the Urshifu, but like I said, Entei is very strong into the restricted duo. I think I'll double protect this turn. Scout what they go for and just kill a turn of Trick Room. I kind of want to Sucker Punch Magearna. Oh, it's Terra. Okay. That simplifies things. I kind of want to Sucker Punch Magearna, but I realized Sucker Punch would do more damage to Calyrex, but it won't do more to Calyrex. At least not appreciably more. If Calyrex is terrestrialized into the Fairy type. I'm going to Sucker Punch Magearna here and just Wide Guard. If they click Glacial Lance, they don't have to. They could get me with a high horsepower and Zamazenta, but given that I haven't shown Wide Guard, they might click Glacial Lance here. Sucker Punch does respectable damage to Magearna. They do high horsepower. Yeah, I mean, that was a pretty reasonable play for them to make. There is still another Trick Room turn after this. And Magearna's at +3, but I do have Protect on both these Pokemon. The problem here is if they click Trick Room with both of theirs, right? So I kind of want to Shadow Sneak Magearna, but I think I need to preserve the Giratina. Oh, I could Terra Fire Giratina, Shadow Sneak Magearna, then I'm probably okay into a Glacial Lance, and I have Levitate making it immune to the high horsepower anyway. And this is covering for them clicking Trick Room with both Pokemon. If I click Protect with both of mine, they can click Trick Room with both of theirs, and that turns the Trick Room off and then sets up a new one. Which is a really cool play on these hard Trick Room teams to extend your time when the opponent plays passively. So for that reason, I almost forgot a key part here. Terra Fire Giratina, Shadow Sneak Magearna, looking to deny at least a Trick Room from this Pokemon, and protect Entei. Magearna just protects. Okay. Well, I think my reasoning was sound. I like the play that I made. How do I threaten damage into Calyrex here? The high horsepower into Entei is still a problem. I guess Magearna always loses to Shadow Sneak, right? Except I think I do have to target Magearna because it'll just do so much damage at +3. What I'm getting at is I would like to double target Calyrex, but I don't think I can afford to here, unfortunately. So then which Pokemon do I want to hit Calyrex? I think it's Giratina with Poltergeist, right? Or no, actually, I'm going to go Sacred Fire into Calyrex because of the 50% burn chance. I'll still Shadow Sneak Magearna. It's more accurate than Poltergeist. It KOs. I would love to burn Calyrex with the Sacred Fire. Instead, I get the 5% miss. 50% burn chance, 5% miss. It's a wash, right? And I think I lose to Annihilate now. Well, here's the thing. Giratina... Well, I haven't invested in Giratina's HP, but I think it should have more HP than Annihilate. It's not a Ghost type anymore. They can click Final Gambit if they want. I'm going to click Poltergeist into Annihilate, but I think maybe this actually goes into Calyrex. Yeah, Final Gambit just misses the KO, and Poltergeist doesn't do enough. I probably just win that if I get the Sacred Fire into Calyrex, right? But 5% miss. It happens. 5% of the time, approximately. But yeah, I didn't even need the burn in the end. Just the Sacred Fire damage into Calyrex I think would have done it, right? If not, then maybe the 50% burn at least would have chipped it enough. Miraidon, Urshifu, Ice Rider Calyrex, Incineroar, Farigiraf, and Iron Hands. Huh. I feel like when I play Chien-Pao Zamazenta teams, I kind of just want to lead that duo into every matchup, and it does often work. I say that because I think I kind of want to do it here. Rillaboom is probably valuable to have into Miraidon. Entei is probably valuable into Ice Rider Calyrex, although we didn't see it last game. But I like Giratina here as well. Giratina is at least an offensive threat into the restricted duo. At least if I get damage on Miraidon. They do have the Intimidate on Incineroar, which Entei would avoid with... I can Extreme Speed with Entei. Sorry, I think I'm leaving Giratina behind. Apologies to Giratina, the featured Pokemon of this video. I think I'm leaving it behind in this matchup. If I could just Body Press the Incineroar, that would be nice, but I don't think they let me do that turn 1. I'm just going to protect, and see what they do go for. If I click Sacred Fire 19 more times in this video, they all have to connect, right? That's how it works. I don't want to spread misinformation, just to be clear. I know that's not how it works. But I believe, if I click Sacred Fire 19 more times, I believe they'll all connect. What are they cooking here? It took them their full time. Protect on Miraidon. Okay, good to know it has that. A lot of them don't. They did just go for the Fake Out into Zamazenta. They could Terrasilize the Incineroar if they want, but I'll make them do it if they want. I'll just go for Icicle Crash into Miraidon and Body Press into Incineroar here. It feels pretty free. They might have a way to mitigate at least. Maybe they have a way to punish. It feels pretty free. If it's Terra Ghost Incineroar, then... I mean, they could double and knock out Chien-Pao if the Miraidon goes before the Chien-Pao. But even then, that would cost them a lot because I have the Focus Sash, so I still get my attack off. Unless I miss Icicle Crash, too. Just one of those take maximum time at every turn opponents. Okay, Miraidon double protects. Incineroar goes for Fake Out again. Sure. Incineroar's gone. And who's coming in? I'm gonna have to wait 30 seconds to find out. Anyone know why these take maximum time every turn people exist? Sorry, that feels kind of rude to word that way. Why is this a thing on Showdown? Are they ghosts? It is Ghost Month. But they show up outside of Ghost Month, too. Oh. A little short of maximum time this turn. Farigiraf is here. I still have Rillaboom in the back. It does not have high horsepower. However... I got Terra Ghost Zamazenta on this team. I think I want to just double Farigiraf and not let it have a Trick Room if it wants that. It kind of simplifies things later in the game, although... Does it matter that much into Ice Rider? It doesn't, right? Miraidon is definitely the more valuable target. Never mind. Electro Drift goes into Zamazenta. It doesn't quite one-shot, so that's nice. It's Life Orb Miraidon. Oh, it almost drops the Icicle Crash, but not quite. I could have gotten that Body Press into Zamazenta, but getting the KO on Miraidon is very good. And yes, they can go Ice Rider Calyrex here, which is actually not ideal for me when Zamazenta has just taken so much damage, because I can Wide Guard, but then they can high horsepower. So honestly, targeting the Farigiraf to deny the Trick Room is... It might have been correct, I'm just not sure. Just wasn't sure how I was beating the Miraidon after just letting it get damage off for free like that. Chien-Pao's Sash is still intact. Depending on what they have to throw at it, I could maybe crunch the Calyrex. Maybe I want to preserve Chien-Pao because it's intimidated. But then what do I do? Switch Entei in? I could switch Entei in. I'm going to switch to Entei and protect Calyrex. That covers for either a Glacial Lance or a high... Or protect Zamazenta. That, or a high horsepower into Zamazenta immediately. It's Glacial Lance, okay. Oh, Entei doesn't take that as well as I'd like. Oh, yeah, I really need Entei. to... they can double into Entei this next turn, and that's really bad for me. In fact, I think it might be worth slowing this down here. Protecting Entei and then maybe like sacking Chien-Pao to get Entei back in. I think I want a big Stone Edge into Calyrex if I can get one. And I'll go for a Body Press into Calyrex here if they let me get away with it. They could High Horsepower here. That would be a good mix-up. Nope, they just Glacial Lance again. Okay, Zamazenta survives. Get damage into Calyrex. I did have an opportunity there to Wide Guard and Stone Edge, but I actually thought they would attack Entei with Farigiraf because they had a pretty clean KO there. I'm still looking for a Stone Edge into Calyrex if I can get it later, so... I could sack Rillaboom. The problem is that gives him an immediate Chilling Neigh, but actually not necessarily, right? Because... Okay, I'm going to go Chien-Pao here. I'm going to Wide Guard. I haven't shown Wide Guard yet. They've been willing to click Glacial Lance so far. The High Horsepower, but the High Horsepower the Entei slot. Okay, the Farigiraf knocks out Zamazenta. It's not great. It's not great, but it's not completely cooked yet. I kind of have the same dilemma again now, though. I get Entei back here. If I protect with both of my Pokemon, there's the risk that they click Trick Room twice, but if I don't do that, they're threatening a KO into Entei, and there's not really much I can do about it. So... do I think Crunch one-shots Farigiraf? I'm going to try it, just to cover for that play, but I'm going to protect Entei. This might just end up being the worst of both worlds. I'm not sure this play really makes sense. Just the more I think about it, the more convinced I am that they might be about to click Trick Room with both their Pokemon. And I think the only way Entei can possibly win if they do that is if I knock out Farigiraf somehow. I can Extreme Speed Calyrex. Even then. And then Fake Out and Grassy Glide. Sucker Punch. Oh, are they back to maximum time? That... okay, Calyrex protects. Farigiraf protects. They stalled out the last turn of their own Trick Room. Huh. This is really good because I can Crunch and Stone... Yeah, Crunch. I would love to click Extreme Speed, but Farigiraf is going to stop that. So I could Crunch and Stone Edge the Calyrex, and it should be fine as long as Stone Edge connects. Didn't do so great with Sacred Fire, but surely we can count on Stone Edge, right? It gets the double protect. Oh no, is Trick Room back up? Oh man, Giratina's just cursed, I guess. I think I lose on that double protect. What a rough start to the session. They can always just Psychic and Glacial Lance Entei, or they can just High Horsepower Entei. Okay. Crunch into Farigiraf. Protect Entei. Calyrex goes for a triple protect for some reason, and gets it. Okay, but we do one-shot Farigiraf with Crunch, and now I think this is winnable. Alright. Sucker Punch, Terra Normal, Extreme Speed. Even if they don't attack, the Extreme Speed still goes. It almost KOs by itself, but they did attack, so Sucker Punch knocks Calyrex out. I got really bent out of shape there. Fortunately, Crunch did one-shot the Farigiraf. But yeah, I thought it was GG when they got the double protect. But now we actually go 1-1. Giratina, I guess, does not have Arceus' favor, which is consistent with the lore. And it's not making this easy, but... hey, not the worst start so far. Zamazenta, Miraidon, Incineroar, Whimsicott, Wellspring Mask, Ogerpon, and Chien-Pao. What does Giratina do in this matchup? It walls Zamazenta, pretty much. It resists Electro Drift. That's already not bad. It does have issues dealing with Incineroar and Miraidon and Chien-Pao, but maybe I can bring it to this game? But it's tricky because I think I want Chien-Pao Zamazenta, and then I think I want Rillaboom. And then probably the responsible pick is Entei, but I already did that mode last battle, and this is the Giratina video, so I'll bring Giratina. Whimsicott and Incineroar. Okay. Got the Fake Out pressure. I actually think I would like to just double target Whimsicott here, though. If it doesn't have a Focus Sash, which most of them don't, I can minimize the disruption that it causes. They just throw a Moonblast and they prioritize getting rid of Chien-Pao. Okay. Is it Sash Whimsicott? Doesn't matter. It takes the Behemoth Bash. Behemoth Bash is a pretty underwhelming attack sometimes, to be honest. Oh, now I have to bring Giratina in on Incineroar. That's really bad. I'm going to feel pressured to Terra Fire immediately. Also, they have Encore available into Zamazenta, so I can't necessarily body press the Incineroar, which is I think is more reason to Terra Fire, as much as it probably hurts me later in this game. I'll click Poltergeist into this slot. Maybe they switch. If I get rid of Whimsicott, then I can protect this turn and body press next, so I can do that with Zamazenta at least. They do go for Encore into Zamazenta. Do I land the Poltergeist? I do. Whimsicott's out of here. They knock off Giratina. Doesn't even do the boosted damage because you can't remove Origin Giratina's item. But I have gotten rid of, well, one of my 2 Electro Drift resists. I do still have Rillaboom, which I can pivot in here to change the terrain while I body press Incineroar. Zamazenta shouldn't be one-shot by an Electro Drift. Oh, it doesn't even actually take all that much. Incineroar's gone. They can't pivot Miraidon out anymore. They have Chien-Pao last, which is hard to deal with. Especially since it probably has a Focus Sash. I think it's probably worth it. That Electro Drift did so little to Zamazenta. I think it's probably worth it to Grassy Glide and Body Press. Does it Terra Ghost, though? If it does, I think it loses to Giratina. Alright. Fake Out and Body Press Chien-Pao to Terra Ghost. Ah! What does it go for? Sacred Sword. Knocks out Zamazenta. Can I lose to that? Probably. Giratina's pretty bulky, though. Doesn't get Grassy Terrain Recovery, of course. Let's try something here. Ah, they protect the Chien-Pao. I was trying to see if I could snipe that Pokemon before I had to attack with Giratina when the Chien-Pao probably has Sucker Punch. Well. Drop a Draco into Miraidon. Yeah, we don't take the Electro Drift super well. They knock out Rillaboom. The Chien-Pao just kind of played circles around me. Draco Meteor does a lot of damage to Miraidon, but doesn't knock it out. I can knock it out with Shadow Sneak now, but I don't think Chien-Pao will let me. Well, it does, but Icicle Cry. Oh, doesn't matter. They have a Focus Sash still intact, right? Yeah. All right. Yeah, the Chien-Pao. I knew the Terra. I kind of called the Terra, and then I didn't follow through. So let the Chien-Pao get away with that, and it saved the game for them. I had some bad luck in the first 2 games of this video. That one, I just needed to make a different play. It happens. If I'd focused on the Miraidon, I was less confident in my damage into Miraidon, but I had enough for Giratina to beat it in the back. Oh well. Anyway. We move on to the next game. We've got Lunala, Female and Indeedee, Zamazenta, Urshifu, Rillaboom, and Chi-Yu. Scary team. Really scary team. This is Terra Ghost Zamazenta on this team, so it kind of just folds against Chi-Yu, doesn't it? Most Chi-Yu sets, at least. So for once, I don't think I can just mindlessly lead Zamazenta here. I think I'm better off with Chien-Pao or Urshifu, actually. That still threatens a lot of damage into Lunala and Indeedee stuff. I have a threat into Chi-Yu. Rillaboom is a little bit of an issue leading Urshifu, but otherwise I think I have threats into the rest of their team pretty well. And I'll bring Entei. I think I'll even leave Zamazenta behind here. I think I want Giratina. That means I can't remove Psychic Terrain, but okay. And I think I just aggressively target the Lunala turn 1. Because I would like to not allow Trick Room, if possible. I don't know if they go for Trick Room on this team. I just don't want any Lunala shenanigans, you know? There's only room for one restricted ghost type to be the star of this video. Is this also a take maximum time person? I called that way early. That was a little bit... That was pretty unfair of me, to be honest. Okay, I clicked Crunch into Lunala because that does more damage if it doesn't Terra, and also if they Terra Water. But yeah, the one thing it doesn't cover for is Terra Fairy. I was not as bothered about that because that doesn't make it resist the Surging Strikes. The good news is there's not any kind of Trick Room. So I think now I can just go Entei. Sacred Fire, Zamazenta. Surely it works out this time and threaten the KO on Lunala. They switch Lunala to Indeedee. Is it Rocky Helmet Indeedee? No, it isn't. Okay. Good. They body press Entei for a lot of damage. Do I get the Sacred Fire burn? Yes, I do. Amazing. Okay. Alright, this turn I'll protect Entei and I'll Surging Strike Indeedee. That Pokemon's out of here. What does Zamazenta go for? Body press into Entei. Chi-Yu is here. They can't Terrastallize it. It's pretty much Surging Strike's food. Go for a Sacred Fire into Zamazenta if they let me. Yeah, they just have nothing for this Urshifu, actually. In the mode that they brought, they have a Rillaboom. That looks like it still wouldn't have KO'd even if Zamazenta hadn't been burned. But also by not attacking Entei, they let me get Zamazenta with the Sacred Fire there. They just didn't bring anything for Urshifu without the Rillaboom on their team. I guess their Urshifu probably could have stood up to mine as well. It's at least an even matchup, but... Well, unless it's Single Strike form. But yeah, they just had nothing. Surging Strikes just kind of ran away with that one. Giratina has not done much this video, has it? Well, so far. So far. But surely we can find it a spot or two. Put in work. Ooh, Deoxys size spam. Attack Deoxys, Indeedee, Koraidon, Walking Wake, Volcarona, and Whimsicott. One thing about using a pre-built tournament performing Reg I team in this series, this one time only, is that I have not thought through mythical Pokemon matchups at all. And Attack Deoxys sure looks like a scary one. I feel like I surely have to lead Chien-Pao into this. I could lead Chien-Pao... no. Giratina lead doesn't work because Indeedee can redirect a Shadow Sneak or something. What I want is Chien-Pao in the lead. Rillaboom not in the lead, so I can switch it in. I think Entei is okay as the other lead Pokemon. So I can threaten Volcarona, I can threaten Whimsicott, I can threaten Indeedee, sort of. Entei or Zamazenta. The only thing with Zamazenta is I don't want to have to switch it out turn 1. Actually, I can click Wide Guard in front of Deoxys and Psychic Terrain. I think I have a little bit more belief in Entei here, though. I'm also getting Extreme Speed. Chien-Pao, Entei, Rillaboom, Zamazenta. We'll find out. Oops, I didn't bring Giratina. It's the Indeedee Deoxys lead. What am I looking to do? Switch to Rillaboom in the Entei slot and crunch Indeedee. I like that, I think. I want to get that redirection out of here. I mean, it's also nice if they can't set up the Psychic Terrain anymore, but a lot freer to target Deoxys if there's no redirection support for it. Oh, it's Superpower Deoxys into Chien-Pao. Cool. Focus Sash keeps Chien-Pao alive for now. We do one-shot Indeedee. Is it Rocky Helmet Indeedee? It's not. Okay. Chien-Pao can look for a Sucker Punch into Deoxys now if I want. Koraidon is here. I think it might be worthwhile to Terra Fire. Oh, Terra Water, excuse me. Rillaboom. On the other hand, Koraidon takes a lot of damage back if it Flare Blitzes Rillaboom. And it might be more worthwhile to use my Terra on, honestly, either of these guys. This wipes out weaknesses to Koraidon. This gives me a stronger Extreme Speed. I don't think the Terra Fire is good here. I think I just want to Sucker Punch and Grassy Glide the Deoxys. Protect, okay. They also protect Koraidon, so they don't take a KO this turn. They can make a switch here if they want. If it's Walking Wake in the back, it's not going to love the Grassy Glide. I'm actually just going to call that they don't switch because I don't want to let Deoxys off the hook. If in fact that's what happens. Volcarona would just eat this Grassy Glide up. Don't really want to see that. But yeah, I'm not calling a switch here. Because I don't want to let Deoxys back into this game. And they don't switch. Nice. So we knock out Deoxys. What does Koraidon do? Flare Blitz and a Rillaboom. One shots, but does a lot back. Yup. And then I think I could go Entei. Right? I could go Entei, and if it's not Volcarona, I can Terra Normal, threaten the Koraidon. Or the Walking Wake. I think this turn I protect, see what they do. If anything protects, then that's a target next turn. Koraidon protects. That's pretty much what I wanted to see. Hydro Steam. This also kills some more Sun turns, so Zamazenta can get out of Sun in an end game against Walking Wake. I'll Sucker Punch and Terra Normal Extreme Speed Koraidon here. I can go for the double protect, it does, but it fails. Extreme Speed KOs, I get the Sucker Punch into Walking Wake, even better. It's Weather Ball, fire Weather Ball into Chien-Pao, but Entei still has that Terra Normal Life Orb Extreme Speed online, and now I get Zamazenta next to it. I can protect to get out of their Photosynthesis here, but I don't think I need to. I think they just lose. Zamazenta outspeeds Walking Wake. I don't think I have any speed investment on the Zamazenta. Maybe that's meant to be a Trick Room Walking Wake. In any case, it's gone now. Whoa! We got double Giratina. I'm not the only one featuring Giratina this Ghost Month. You love to see it. Koraidon, Blood Moon Ursaluna, Origin Giratina, Incineroar Ting-Lu, and Conkeldurr. Unfortunately for me, they have Incineroar, Ting-Lu, and Blood Moon Ursaluna. This feels like a really bad Giratina matchup. I'm not sure I can bring it. It would be so cool to bring it, but I'm not sure I can. Actually, Giratina is really good into Koraidon, though. That's come to mind. That, come to think of it, is something that I could have thought about last game. Although last game was fine without. I don't know if I can bring it to this matchup, but I really want to. I think I can do the Chien-Pao Zamazenta lead. My favorite lead in Scarlet and Violet restricted form het Pokemon. And then... Well, here's the thing, right? Urshifu beats all the things that beat Giratina. I don't think I need Entei in this matchup. It's not terrible. It can't be intimidated by Incineroar. And it gives me strong priority into Koraidon, like we saw last game. But I don't think I need it, and I don't think Rillaboom is that good. Rillaboom might be that good in this game, but I'm going to bring Giratina and Urshifu. That duo covers just about everything between the two of them, and it's just a question of positioning. I just really wanted to bring Giratina, you know? We're facing an opposing Giratina. Let's see whose is stronger. Blood Moon Ursaluna leading with Incineroar. Tricky lead. I mean, there's no Trick Room up. There's no Trick Room threatened this turn, so Protect seems fine. We'll see what the Ursaluna goes for. No Terra on the Ursaluna, so they're keeping that hidden. It could be Terra Ghost. And then I'd be unhappy about body pressing it. So actually, I think to cover for that, I'm going to Crunch and body press Ursaluna. It just protects. What does Incineroar go for? U-turn into Zamazenta. Okay. It could have been something a lot worse than that. Who's coming in? Giratina! Okay, hello. Welcome. This could be running Will-O-Wisp. It's certainly possible. I'll go for a Crunch into that and a Body Press into Ursaluna. I'm a little bit worried that they show me the Terra Ghost now, but they don't, so Ursaluna just gets one shot. I don't know what they were trying to do with it. Shadow Force is fine. Koraidon is here. Chien-Pao's Sash is still intact. I'm down to just Icicle Crash and Body Press this thing. It could Terra. It doesn't. Oh, give me this Icicle Crash. Nice KOs. Unfortunately, Zamazenta is faster than Giratina. There's no value in protecting there anyway because Shadow Force goes through Protect. It doesn't do too much damage. And now... I'm down to switch to my Giratina here and protect Zamazenta. I'll preserve Chien-Pao because I can Sucker Punch their Giratina with it. If I don't lose it to a Fake Out or Shadow Sneak right now. I did just switch my Giratina in on a Shadow Sneak, but I'm running a lot of speed investment. Let's see. I'll Shadow Sneak back. And Body Press Incineroar. It's Terra Fire for some reason. Well, I guess to strengthen the Flare Blitz. It has turned off its weakness to Body Press. It still takes a lot of damage. They go for Shadow Force. And my opponent forfeits before I can figure out what to do next. Alright, well in the Battle of the Giratina, neither one was KO'd, so I'm not sure this is really a definitive result, but wins are wins, and mine came out ahead on that front. That's what it's all about, right? Team wins. Here we've got Miraidon, Ice Rider, Calyrex, Incineroar, Farigiraf, Urshifu, and Landorus. My enemy, Farigiraf, is back. This. I probably need Entei. Do I need Entei? Is Entei even good into a team with Landorus and probably Rapid Striker Shifu? I'll bring Giratina. Supposed to bring your restricted Pokemon, right? Sometimes I forget. Miraidon, Farigiraf, okay. Electric Seed, Farigiraf. I have threats into Miraidon. I would love to deny Trick Room if I possibly can. I don't know if I can. This Miraidon also this is Farigiraf boosts its defense, but also they might not go for Trick Room turn 1 with Miraidon on the field. One thing that's tricky about these teams is they totally can do that. They can Volt Switch out to like their Calyrex or something and set Trick Room. So I would like to take that option away from them. But also I can't click my priority with Farigiraf on the field, so prioritizing that makes sense anyway. Protect. Uh-oh. Oh dear. Who's coming in? This guy, of course. Alright, well, I'm going to say that they want to snipe the fake out KO into Chien-Pao. So I'm going to switch to Giratina and Body Press Incineroar. That's not me prioritizing Farigiraf, but I just don't have enough damage into Farigiraf this very turn anyway. Nice. This time that play actually worked out the way I wanted. We knock out Incineroar. They said Trick Room. I didn't have a way to stop it this turn. Maybe I did if I terrestrialized Chien-Pao, but after Intimidate, I'm, less certain that it does enough damage, than I already was. So, here we are. So the neat thing about having my restricted duo out here is high horsepower does nothing to Giratina. It does a lot to Zamazenta, but I feel like they're extra incentivized to click Glacial Lance. Like, Giratina is kind of beckoning to them, baiting them into it. So they might let me have a Poltergeist into their Calyrex here while I Wide Guard. Terra Water, okay. Not the worst Terra type they could have had here. They do just go straight for the high horsepower into Zamazenta. It doesn't do too much damage, though, when it's Life Orb. Life Orb, Ice Rider, Calyrex. Poltergeist doesn't do a ton either. Okay, I feel like my options here are Protect Giratina, Body Press Calyrex, or Wide Guard, Terra Fire, Poltergeist. Okay, saying it out loud, I definitely like this option more. The other one's so committal. We know we take another high horsepower because of the damage last time. Body Press takes out the Calyrex. There's still 2 more turns of Trick Room. I might be able to... They only have Miraidon and Farigiraf left. I'm in a decent position against Miraidon here. I actually think I do Terra Fire the Giratina this turn so that it can take Foul Play from Farigiraf and hit Miraidon with a Draco Meteor. I've already used their Terra. They haven't shown Protect on Miraidon, so they probably don't have it. Yeah. Nice. Okay, this does less damage than it did to the other Miraidon earlier, but still enough to KO with the follow-up Body Press. And now, Farigiraf should just not have enough damage to win the game. I'm going to switch out to Chien-Pao here. No, I'm not, because I can just win on the spot when it comes in. I'm going to switch out to Rillaboom and Body Press. I'm preserving Giratina so that I have the option if I want to click Draco Meteor into Farigiraf, but I really don't think that'll be necessary. I have the option to... Well, yeah, actually, that's just correct, because Giratina is in Foul Play range, so it would just be KO'd by Farigiraf now. But also, I get rid of the Draco Meteor drop. That was a relatively high-rated opponent. Not bad. Giratina just keeps winning. And it put in work in that game. the Draco Meteor into Miraidon, as well as just, tanking enough hits to get into that position. And the Poltergeist into their Calyrex gave me some valuable chip as well. So Giratina didn't, my Zamazenta claimed the KOs, but Giratina put in some valuable work against both of that opponent's restricted Pokemon. This one has Kyogre, Chi-Yu, Urshifu, Tornadus, Therian Landorus, and Miraidon. I don't think I've run into a Kyogre yet today, have I? Chi-Yu is, of course, kind of a nightmare for the restricted duo on this team, as previously discussed. I feel like Urshifu is very strong into my opponent's team, but they do have Miraidon and Tornadus for speed control, so it's not foolproof. I'm actually going to lead Chien-Pao Zamazenta, even though Chi-Yu is a menace. Chi-Yu is weakened if they set up Rain, and I can Sucker Punch it. I can probably get some damage into Chi-Yu at least. I'll bring Rillaboom, and I'll bring Urshifu. I don't feel that great about bringing Rillaboom. Actually, I do. It's strong into both of their restricteds, but I feel like I should have thought that one through a little bit more. The last thing I wanted to see was lead Chi-Yu, so of course here it is. Could have led Urshifu, but I felt like that was not a good bet if they didn't lead Chi-Yu. I guess lead Chi-Yu was reasonably likely because it's very strong into my team, but yeah, I just didn't love Urshifu overall as a lead here. Icicle Crash into Torn, Body Press into Chi-Yu. Let's just see what I get out of it. They do, okay, they miss a Heat Wave into Zamazenta, and they also don't Terrasilize Chi-Yu. That's huge. It's Life Orb Chi-Yu as well, not Scarf. I just get 2 KOs here then, and I'm worried about the Chi-Yu for not nothing, but not a whole lot. The miss into Zamazenta is lucky, but surely that doesn't one-shot, right? Regardless. Sucker Punch Kyogre here. Don't want to be taking big Water Spout damage. Protect Zamazenta. Ooh, Terra Water Kyogre. That's probably like Specs or Scarf Water Spout. That takes a lot from the Sucker Punch, though. It is Water Spout. Nice. If they're Choice Locked, that's going to have its damage nerfed the rest of the way. Now I get Rillaboom and I change the terrain. I can focus down Miraidon, I think. I'll Fake Out first. And actually I'll Body Press Kyogre. It doesn't really matter. Just getting a KO into one of these should result in a winning endgame. That Water Spout still does a lot to Zamazenta, but now it won't do anything anymore. And Miraidon is not in a great spot here. I don't have amazing damage into it, but their Tailwind is about to end. I can close combat it with Urshifu after this turn. In the meantime, I'll just click my big attacks. Electro Drift takes out Zamazenta. The Woodhammer does not amazing damage back, but Tailwind's over. I have Urshifu. Terra Water. Why would I Terra Water? I'm not clicking Surging. Close combat. Knocks Miraidon down to 1%, and clearly Rillaboom has finished the job. I could have clicked Grassy Glide in close combat there, but I figured just getting the most damage I could with Woodhammer was going to be enough when Miraidon wasn't threatening to knock out both of my Pokemon turn 1. We're kind of climbing the ladder with this team. Again, the only time in the series that I'm building, or that I'm running a team that did well in a tournament and not something I threw together myself. So, not shocking, I guess. Shadow Rider Calyrex, Incineroar, Zamazenta for Rigoraph, Wellspring Mask, Ogerpon. It's a couple of those now today. And Chien-Pao. How do I beat an opposing Chien-Pao Zamazenta team? Well, let's throw out my Chien-Pao and Zamazenta. Giratina's pretty good into some of their stuff. Well, once again, like half their team kind of hard counters it. That's become a recurring issue for Giratina in this video, if I'm being honest. Entei's alright. I like its ability to burn Zamazenta. Actually, Urshifu is really good here, except in front of the Wellspring Mask Ogerpon, so that might explain why they brought it. Or why they have it on their team, I mean. I'll bring Urshifu and Rillaboom. Rillaboom is a little bit more solid into their Calyrex and also their Ogerpon, which is their biggest threat to Urshifu. They lead Ogerpon with Chien-Pao. If they let me take out this Ogerpon right away, I am down. It would be nice. Let's see. Because then Urshifu in the back should go crazy. Protect, and they don't Spiky Shield. Ivy Cudgel breaks Chien-Pao's Sash. But I think getting rid of their ogre pawn, is very good for me. It doesn't win the game on the spot, but it's solid progress. Turn 1. They bring Calyrex. I would like to break their Champow's Sash if I can. I don't think Calyrex is going to let me just Sucker Punch it. I'll go for Behemoth Bash into it. It could Terra Fairy. Doesn't Terra at all. Maybe I should have just taken out the Champow here. Sacred Sword. Okay, just misses the KO. It's Life Orb Champow. It didn't even have a Sash to break. I could have Sucker Punched the Calyrex. Why would they let me do that? Surging. Body Press if they let me, which I don't think they will, but I might as well go for it. Sucker Punch Zamazenta. They let me have their Calyrex. Is it some silly Terra type on Zamazenta in the back? No, it's Incineroar. Okay, they can fake out Urshifu, probably, but then what? Here, I'll Terra Water my Rillaboom, too. I'll double target the Champow. What are they covering for? Fake out, I guess? That's good damage into Urshifu, but it doesn't KO, and I get the Wood Hammer now into Champow. Sure, it's -1, but this is Rillaboom. This thing's strong. And now Surging Strike should just win the game. But also click Wood Hammer, or U-turn. Also click U-turn. I don't... Yeah, that was... I feel a little bit odd about this game. They let me make the simple offensive plays that I usually stay away from because most opponents punish them. You know, I didn't always get to take advantage of that because I didn't know they were going to do that, but I picked up on it eventually. And then them not bringing some... I feel like Zamazenta instead of Incineroar in the back could have won that for my opponent. In any case, we get now Koraidon, Raging Bolt, Miraidon, Farigiraf, Incineroar, and Amoonguss. Double bikes. Not the most tournament-proven core, but very scary whenever I run into it with a silly team on the ladder. I don't think this will be any exception, although priority spam into double bikes is not bad if I can get rid of Farigiraf. With that in mind, I'm going to lead the usual guys. I'm going to bring Rillaboom to change the terrain, and I don't hate Giratina here. The problem with Giratina is there's just not much of a threat into Farigiraf. I mean, I could Draco Meteor Farigiraf, and then I still have my physical attacks to use on the triple dragons. Or I could just bring Urshifu, but Urshifu's not that good into, you know, Thunderclap, Rage Powder, Electro Drift. I'm actually going to bring Giratina. Honestly, Entei might be the best pick here, but gotta get Giratina into some games. Well, I actually have to go soon. I might have to end the recording before I lose another game, unless I lose this one, which I might well do. I have less time to record right now than I thought I did when I hit the button. Consequence of having plans at a not specified time this evening. It's getting a little bit more specified now. Versus a maximum time opponent, by the way, at least so far. Koraidon, Raging Bolt. Okay. This is bad because this is like the first time in the whole video that an opponent can break Qianpao's Focus Sash with both of their Pokemon, and that they have Pokemon that can hit before Qianpao goes, both of them, and break its Sash and knock it out. I'll just protect. And I'll just throw off, I could Terra Ghost. I don't think I want to. They're also threatening a KO, and you know what? I think I just attack, actually, and let them KO whichever thing they want more. And I'll just target the Raging Bolt. It's Thunderclap and Qianpao, and U-turn. Okay, they knock out Qianpao. I get a Body Press and a Raging Bolt. I was just thinking, like, if I protected Qianpao, which was my original idea that turn, then if they focus down on Zamazenta, I'm just way behind already. I get Rillaboom here to change the terrain. It doesn't do a whole lot else in this position. So I'm just going to U-turn. And I'll look for the KO and Raging Bolt here. Farigiraf comes in. That's a nice U-turn target. Good damage. Giratina, the only option. They get their terrain back. I can just change it right back again if I want. And get the Electric Seed on Farigiraf. That's kind of annoying. I think I do have to just change the terrain right back. I mean, you know, we saw in an earlier game, if I get rid of all their Pokemon except Farigiraf, then Farigiraf is probably not much of a threat by itself. Ooh, Terra Electric Helping Hand. They're still going to do a lot here with this Volt Switch. But that means the Body Press goes into Koraidon. That's not bad. Now, it's a little bit awkward because I kind of like to Terra Water Rillaboom, and I don't think I can do that when they still have Miraidon lurking in the back. But actually, this should be a pretty free switch, I think, into Giratina. And then I think it's probably worth a Terra Ghost on Zamazenta. Avoid a close combat, have a better chance of taking a Flare Blitz, look for the KO on Koraidon. They could punish this if they pivot around some more with like U-turn, and I've used my Terra, and they're not going to be surprised by it anymore. But if this happens instead, I'm in a good spot. It's Roar for Farigiraf, just brings Rillaboom right back in. That does give them their terrain. That actually is pretty threatening. Because now if I want to pivot Rillaboom back out, that's a really cool use of Roar Farigiraf. Because now if I want to pivot Rillaboom back out, I risk bringing Giratina in on like a Draco Meteor or something. But you know what? If they click Draco Meteor into Giratina, then they're not doing anything significant to Zamazenta. I can Body Press. I think it's still okay. It is Draco Meteor. Giratina, your sacrifice will not be forgotten. Yeah, but now they've weakened their own Miraidon into my 2 remaining Pokemon, one of which is Rillaboom, and they actually forfeit before Rillaboom even hits the field again. I have continued to climb the ladder a fair bit this session. I'm playing it by ear now. Each game that I start at this point might have to be the last of the recording session, but we'll see. Lunala, Magearna, Incineroar, Sarina, Mudsdale, and Hawlucha. Let's Trick Room. The Hawlucha is weird, though. Does it just, like, click Coaching for Mudsdale or something? I don't see a ton else for it to do on this team, but I might be missing something. I don't want to let them have free Trick Room. If I can avoid it. I'm going to lead Chien-Pao Zamazenta. Tell me if you've heard that one before. I would like to bring Urshifu. It adds more pressure not to let them set Trick Room because it's so bad in Trick Room. But it's so good here outside of Trick Room. They don't have Psychic Terrain. Unless it's me. Oh, they have Sarina. So Sarina can stop me from Shadow Sneaking things. I'll bring Entei to help deal with that. And also, Entei's not bad into Magearna. And I could just bring Rillaboom, maybe? That means I don't get Giratina. I'll bring Giratina. I'll probably have to stop recording soon anyway. Better to have a shaky game with Giratina than a solid one without, at this point, probably. What does Hawlucha do here? It might actually just be coaching to boost Magearna's defense, or it might be... I don't know, let's just try to find out. It just protects this turn. I could have double targeted Magearna and probably knocked it out. I probably should have done that. Okay, but they don't set Trick Room, they just Aura Sphere. It's leftovers Magearna, they just Aura Sphere into Chien-Pao. I don't know what they're cooking, but I'm down to protect Chien-Pao and Body Press Magearna here. And if Hawlucha is going for some kind of shenanigan into Chien-Pao, no, it just switches out. Okay, they get Intimidate, but that doesn't even weaken Body Press. Okay. Okay, they protect Magearna. I've left Chien-Pao on the field. They can probably set Trick Room this next turn. Okay, I'll go Entei. I'll take the chance. Fake out Aura Sphere would also be bad here. It's free damage for them, but I don't want to let them have a free Trick Room. They have it anyway. Okay. But they shouldn't be threatening anything significant into Entei right now. Zamazenta, they kind of are because of the Aura Sphere, so I'm going to Sacred Fire. Yeah, even if they Terrasilize Magearna, I can Extreme Speed it next turn, so I'll Sacred Fire Magearna and Protect. I would love to Body Press this Incineroar, but let's be a little bit more patient than that, because we've seen the Aura Sphere on Magearna. If they switch to Hawlucha, maybe I burn it with the Sacred Fire. If they Terrasilize, I can Extreme Speed Magearna next turn. If they switch to Lunala, maybe I burn it with the Sacred Fire, but also maybe I break Shadow Shield. A Parting Shot into Zamazenta. No burn. Residual damage would be nice, but it's not strictly necessary. I think I actually want to Terra Normal Entei here in case they go for Meteor Beam into it. I'll just Protect first. And Body Press Incineroar. I don't need to Terra right now. And if you heard me hesitate in the middle of saying Meteor Beam, it's because, as I've said on the channel before, maybe my favorite Wolf Glickism is calling that move Meat Eater Beam. And sometimes that's what comes to my mind first. If they go for Meat Eater Beam into Entei, it'll protect this turn, and that is what they do. Parting Shot also into Entei, so they leave their Incineroar to get pressed. Girna's back. Man. Does Entei take a hit from Lunala? I don't know. I'll just try to double Magearna here. I don't want to let Magearna set up, you know? Also, if I knock out Magearna, then I can deny the double Trick Room play. Or Sphere Entei. Oh, they double into it. Okay. But that does let me knock out Magearna, and that means I can protect on the last turn of Trick Room. What do I have in the back? Chien-Pao and Giratina? Yeah, I can protect these guys on the last turn of Trick Room. I'll go Giratina right now. And they only have one Trick Room setter left, so they can't do the double Trick Room play to set it back up. They haven't used their Terra, right? We might see it on Lunala this turn. And it might yet save the game for them. Terra, like, Water. Terra Water Lunala. It's not ideal, but I don't know if it saves the game. Because Lunala then can be hit by Body Press if they go for that. Right, I think I should be able, whether they Terra or not, to just Poltergeist and Body Press Lunala next turn. I still don't know what the Hawlucha is for on this team, but I'm not that afraid of it. Oh, unless it has Encore. Well, it could have Encore. But I'm not going to hard read that. I'm going to do this. It looks a little bit silly, but it's meant to cover for like a Terra Water. That's what the Body Press is for. I mean, if they don't Terrasilize Lunala and I get a Poltergeist off, that should just knock it out, right? Protect. Close Combat into Zamazenta. Doesn't look like another one even KOs. White Herb. Okay, they have Unburden now. Hawlucha was already faster than my Pokemon, though. That shouldn't make any difference. Let's see. There's some surprise that they still have. Is it Encore on Hawlucha? That I think I can lose to. Can I? Encore and some kind of Terra on Lunala? Maybe. Maybe not actually at this point, because what is the I didn't protect this last turn. What does the Encore go into? Ooh, Terra Fairy. That's more common than Water, right? So perhaps I should have clicked Behemoth Bash to cover for that, but they don't have an item. Poltergeist only works if the target has an item. Oh no, I forgot something important. I think I lose to Hawlucha now. No, I still have my Terra. I can Terra Ghost. If they try to knock Hawlucha out with Fighting Move, or if they try to knock Chien-Pao out with Fighting Move, I'm still in it. They might only have Fighting Move on Hawlucha. We haven't seen their fourth move. The only attack they've shown is Close Combat. It is still possible that this is winnable. But yeah, forgetting that Poltergeist needs an item. It's not something that comes up too often because it's not a... Iron Head. Alright, well, that'll do it for them. I think I win. Or, I think... Excuse me, I think they win now. GG. That is a rough Giratina moment, though, forgetting that the target has to have an item for Poltergeist to work. I could have just Shadow Snuck. I don't think it would have done enough damage. Yeah, I guess I lost either way. I really do have to go, but I don't want to end the Giratina showcase on that, so I will get one last game, and I will bring Giratina guaranteed. Not necessarily lead it, but yes, necessarily bring it. Shadow Rider, Zamazenta, Chien-Pao, Rillaboom, Tornadus, Raging Bolt. Okay. What do we do about this? Entei? Giratina? I think so. Rillaboom's not very good here, Urshifu's not very good here. I think by process of elimination, it's Entei and Giratina in the back. Let's not click Poltergeist into an itemless Pokemon this time. Agree? What does my Chien-Pao even do this turn? I think it just protects. If I get rid of their Chien-Pao, then I can Terra Ghost against their Zamazenta. I can Terra Ghost my Zamazenta against their Zamazenta, I mean. Their Dragon. Ah, they protect their Chien-Pao. Of course they do. That was the first thing I thought to do with mine. Silly me. Okay, they can't Terrasilize Chien-Pao now, so... If I can get with priority... right? Even if the Sucker Punch doesn't work out, I can Terra Ghost, Body Press, and then I can hit Chien-Pao with like an Extreme Speed next turn. Oh, it's Life Orb Chien-Pao. No wonder they protected it. And yeah, my Zamazenta is now immune to their Zamazenta's Body Press. That's a fun interaction there. Do I go Entei or Giratina? I think I go Giratina. Double up on the Body Press immunities in this position. And they have Tornadus. I can Draco Meteor their Zamazenta. That's really funny. Let's do it. Effect. Okay. What does Torn go for? Tailwind? What does Torn go for after this? They're not running Dark Pulse, are they? If it's just Bleak Wind Storm, I don't think I'm too worried about that. Probably. They've already used their Terra too, so if they have the Shadow Rider in the back, okay, Rain Dance, sure. Heavy Slam. Giratina's pretty heavy, I think. If they have the Shadow Rider in the back, I can Shadow Sneak it. Yep. I'll Wide Guard as well, because if the Focus Sash isn't on Chien-Pao, it's surely on this. So Shadow Sneak won't one-shot. Heck, okay. Oh, they could have Taunt on Torn. They probably do. Yeah, okay. They Taunt to cover for that. Do I just need Zamazenta to take an Astral Barrage now? I think so. I think I just lose if it doesn't. I mean, Zamazenta is a very bulky mon. It takes it. Oh, but then the Torn gets to attack. They've set up for Bleak Wind Storm to never miss. Ah, okay. Was there a way to win that? It's I don't know, it's tough. Because I can always protect if I pivot Zamazenta out and I preserve the Wide Guard. If I pivot Zamazenta out to get rid of the taunt, they can always taunt again and protect. Alright. Came up just short in that one. Giratina almost pulled off a big win over the more popular Psychic and Ghost Restricted. But overall, Giratina had a pretty good run this time. I had fun with this team and won a lot of games. I cannot be upset about how it happened, except that I made a silly mistake with Poltergeist. And hey, this might be the best team you see for the rest of this series. I am back to building myself with a couple of unusual Pokemon for the rest of Ghost Month, but they're going to be interesting Pokemon for sure, so stick around as we get closer to Halloween for some real spooky, scary stuff. I don't even know what the teams are going to be, but I know what I'm building them around, and it's going to be something.